Okay, folks, this is just a fun little project that I designed for one of the ladies that's in my group. She raises mules, and she wanted a shed to put her hay in so it wouldn't get all wet sitting out, and also, if she needs to, she can bring her mules in out of the bad weather. So I come up with this design, and it's designed to be inexpensive to build, okay? You could build this out of recycled materials. It is a common design using a shed roof. A shed roof just has one side higher than the other side, so you have a pitch, a slope here so that any snow or rain will run off the roof. Now, I've got in this shed, just to show you how it can be used, I got a couple of mules there, I got a water or feed trough, I got the hay in the back, and there's a chicken sitting on top of the hay, and then over against the wall here I've got some bridles, a horseshoe, and there's a saddle back there. There's enough room in here for you to put your tack against the wall, and plenty of storage for hay. I only put in some bales, but you could actually get well over a ton of hay inside this storage shed. Now this shed is 16 feet long and 12 feet wide, 8 feet to the front wall, 9 feet to the back wall. And I'm going to pull the sides and everything off so I can show you what this is made of. But what we used is some materials that she already had. She's got some 4x4s, so this uses 7 4x4s for the interior. And this is what they call post and beam construction. It's very, very strong construction. A lot of old homesteaders used this when they were making their outbuildings. And so that's a great way to build an outbuilding without a lot of material, but is super strong. It's going to hold up under the weather. It'll make a great outbuilding, and can be used for other types of structures. It's a very common building structure. So let's take this apart and I'll show you what it's in. I don't need these animals and stuff in here. That's just to give you an idea of the space that's available. So let's go ahead and hide those. And then you can see inside here the space that's available. Again, it's a 12 by 16, and we used 4x4s on 8-foot centers here, okay? Or 4x4s in the corners with one 4x4 in the end wall for a beam. Now we left this front open, okay? You could enclose it and put a couple of double doors on here if you wanted to, but she wanted it left open just so it was protected from the weather. All right. On the roof, what I suggest, you can use any type of roofing material you want, but a cheap way to make a roof for a shed, you can get corrugated roofing tin at any place that sells building material. They will usually sell this, and it's shiny. It's not painted. It's a shiny metal corrugated roof that is a common material used for sheds and outbuildings. And it usually comes in 2-foot widths, and then you can get it in lengths from 8 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot. Since this is a 12-foot wide building, you can get 12-foot lengths of corrugated metal. And that's an inexpensive roofing material. It'll last for a very, very long time. Weathers really well. And because it's shiny, it actually reflects the sun during the summer so that this stays cooler in here. And in the winter, the sun will penetrate through there, so your snow will actually melt off faster. So it's a really good material to use. You could even do the walls with this corrugated metal, but then your building would, believe me, you'd be able to see it for miles and miles because it would reflect the sun. So instead, what we used on the walls, I used some recycled material, just some recycled wood material. Or you could go to any lumber mill, and they will have what they call planks or weenie edge, which is just the leftover material after they cut the log down. They always have these planks left over that they may not all be the same width or length or size. You may have to do some cutting to make them fit, but you can usually pick up a whole truckload of those for just a few dollars because they can't be used for anything else. They're odd sizes. They may have knot holes in them, but you can pick those up. Or you might be able to get some recycled barn wood or some recycled fencing material. Any type of recycled wood would be good for just a shed like this, okay? And it actually makes it look really nice. Okay, so let's pull this apart and I'll show you how it's built. First, let's take off this corrugated roof. We'll just hide that. Now you can see that let's go ahead and pull the sides off here too. We'll take it right down to its basic structure. Okay, you can see that this is made using 4x4s in the corner posts. Now these are 12 foot long because that's what she had to work with, and that's a good length because you can see that what I've done is I've buried 3 feet of that down into the ground. Okay, I've got 3 feet of them, of those posts, buried down in the ground. Now these should be pressure treated. If they're not pressure treated, what I would suggest is you can coat these with tar or wrap tar paper around them, because where they're underground you don't want them to rot. If they're not pressure treated, I would go ahead and coat them with some tar, or you could bury them in cement, but that gets expensive. I would coat them with tar or wrap them in tar paper before you put them down in the ground. Okay, and 3 feet of them are under the ground. And then you can see they just come out, and the back wall is 9 feet high, the front wall is 8 feet high. And then I've used 2x6s here for the bracing. And you can see that there's a rim plate. I'll take this roof off here so you can see it. Okay, this is the start structure here. And I've just got a rim plate of a 2x6 that goes all the way around the top, in the middle, and down at the bottom edge. And that's just used so that it will hold the structure together. Okay, looks a little bit odd at that angle, but it actually isn't. Okay, these are squared across. This one, it comes at an angle. That's the only one that goes at an angle there, and that gives you your support to hold your 4x4s together and square. Okay, and this one here is the only one that's not cut to the same angle. It would be cut at an angle so it fits against that wall right there. The rest of them are all, these would all be 8 feet, and these would all be 9 feet. That's the only one that has to be cut at a different size. And then using just a 2x4 or a 2x6 for a rim plate to hold the structure together. Okay, then the roof, which we'll put that back on. Okay, with the roof on, I just put these, again, 2x6s. Now you don't have to use kiln dried lumber. If you go to your lumber mill, a lot of times you can pick these up that are not kiln dried, that are just rough cut lumber, what they call a rough cut slab or rough cut lumber, and that's cheaper than getting lumber from a lumber shop that's kiln dried. So you don't have to use kiln dried lumber, which is a little bit more expensive. And these are just on 2-foot centers because those roofing panels are on 2-foot widths. So I just went 2 feet over and put one of these. You don't need to do them on 16-inch centers. 2 feet is plenty. And I just put them on 2-foot centers. Now on this center beam, I added an extra one. I went on one side of the 4x4 and again on the other side of the 4x4. That's just to give it some extra support in the middle of this structure. You could go with one board, but I thought 2 boards would be better for center support. So that's the roofing structure frame, and it's just on 2-foot centers there. Okay, and that'll give you a nice solid structure with 4x4s around this. That's not going to go anywhere, and that'll hold it and support any snow load. You don't have to worry about that. Where it's only 12 feet wide, that'll hold any snow load that you might come across there. It's got enough of a pitch that the snow and the rain will run off of this side down here. Okay, so that's the basic structure. Now we'll put it all back together again. Now you can see it with the roofing material put on, and then those inside supports, those 2x6s or whatever material you use for a support, then you nail your outside boards directly to that, and they'll be attached at the top, in the middle, and down at the bottom. And you could use either nail or screws on the siding boards, and you just cut them and nail them up there is all you need to do, and that gives you a nice structure protected from the wind, and you've got plenty of room to store all your hay back there. And if you wanted to, you could build a partition, half fence partition with a gate or something in here. That way you could put your mules in here and they wouldn't eat your hay while they're in here. And you could put them in here during winter, or you could just harness them right to a harness board right here so that they don't lean over and eat your hay. That's probably what I would do. But there's plenty of room in here for you to put your tack, your saddles. Your chickens would probably love this place to get in here, and you'd probably find their eggs in your hay. Anyway, that's a little mule shed with a shed roof, corrugated metal roofing, and recycled sidewalls. Just kind of a fun project if you're going to build an outdoor space for your animals. This could be used as a chicken coop, okay, or a shed. It could be used for a lot of purposes, and it would not be very expensive to build. I don't know exactly how much you would spend on something like this, but I think it'd probably be under $200. Even if you bought all new material, it would probably be under $200 to build this. But if you use recycled materials, you could probably do this for $100 of recycled materials. If you can get your 4x4s, the rest of the material you can probably get at any lumber mill. Rough cut wood, pretty inexpensive. It's not going to cost you all that much. $100, $150, $200 the most, I would say, for material. Roofing material, it all depends on what you get. The less expensive, I think these panels are going for about $15 for a 12-foot sheet, 2-foot wide. So you got to figure that into your expense, which will be a little bit more. You could do a conventional roof with tar paper shingles, but if you do that, then you have to have some type of board underneath it. You could use just scrap wood for your roof underneath your shingles and then put shingles on top of it and tar paper. You could do that. If you want to seal this up so it's weather tight, underneath these boards you could put tar paper, okay? And tar paper is a really good material used in a lot of construction because it keeps the weather and moisture from penetrating. So if you want to make this waterproof and airtight, before you put these boards on the sides, you could put a layer of tar paper, or what they call roofing felt, right over those boards, and then put your boards against it, and that would keep the wind from penetrating through these boards if you got a lot of knot holes or spaces in between them. Tar paper is a really good wind barrier and moisture barrier. Okay, folks, there's a shed design for you. Hope you enjoy it. You can go to my website and download the SketchUp of this. This will be in the project plans, and you can just download the SketchUp file if you want to play around with the materials here, change it around, or reconfigure it to fit your needs. Thanks and have a great day.